Global AI Days, session 2 at the mix room. George is the right name? Yes, George?
Yes, correct.
Yes, George, correct. George is here to tell us something about AI Foundry. And if I read the title of your session, I think, is it Marv from the DV? Yes, it's Marv.
Yeah.
Very great. So,
Back.
George, thank you that you are joining us. Thank you that you share your experience about AI Foundry. And I think you do a great session, and I'm looking forward to this. It's your turn. It's your stage.
Thank you. Thank you
Go.
very much for the intro. Many things have changed, and of course, it's hard to keep up. The world is changing so fast around AI now that the LLMs are here. Sometimes it's almost impossible to keep track of the new updates. This is what we'll be talking today about Azure AI Foundry, but in an interesting way, let's say. Let me click the PowerPoint. Let's get started. I don't know, it's like the new setup. I'm here now. Next slide. So that's me. I'm George. I'm a Microsoft MVP and organizer of the Munich.NET community, working for Slalom here in Munich. As a senior architect. I'm not going to get into details because we have so many things to talk. I'm just gonna get into that screen. So how do those connect? 2 years ago, the first version of that bot was released. It was the Marv, the reluctant and sarcastic bot, where you were discussing with it and you were getting answers that they were, as described, sarcastic. Wasn't very happy, a happy robot to give answers. Back then, everything was done pretty manually with the first versions of LLM. And by that, I mean that we're doing raw HTTP requests and we're formulating the prompt in text, clear text. Two lines again and then start the discussion how the human, any one of us, is asking the bot questions and how the bot is answering questions. And that was done with C#. I can share some of that code later on. It's all in GitHub, but we won't have time to go through all of it. Now it's AI Foundry era. Microsoft likes to change names so that the AI Foundry name was initially AI Studio. I don't know why they named it to Foundry. Sort of like the AI Studio a bit more, but nevertheless, it's AI Foundry now. And we will go through AI Foundry to discover it, what it has to offer to us. And we'll also see how we can create Marv with no code at all. So we forget all these C# code that I was writing now. It will be a no-code solution. If anybody happens to know me, you will know that I'm very bad at PowerPoint. In presentations, I really like to jump directly into the whatever I need to show. Visual Studio, AI Foundry now, and have a hands-on experience. But at least I need to have some slides to have an idea on what we're gonna talk about. And that is my only slide. We'll jump then into the AI Foundry, which is a short introduction into AI Foundry, what it is, what it means. So it gives you, first of all, an access to a model catalog. And you might think it's an Azure AI Foundry, it's a Microsoft AI Foundry. You will have Microsoft models only, but you will see that it's in total more than 1,800 models from very big leaders like OpenAI, of course, but also Hugging Face, Meta, very specialized models for the weather, for example, or generic models for everything you might need. Models that they are ready to get fine-tuned, to get some training on. So there are lots of stuff that you can do. And Users, whoever visits AI Foundry, can evaluate these models, compare performance metrics, choose the correct one because I mean, we have the GPT, the Omni GPT now that can do everything. You can upload an image, you can upload text, everything you want, but it's very expensive for a production application that you would need millions of requests. That's super expensive. So the idea is to do whatever you can to lower that cost by using other models that they are cheaper and take advantage of serious power from GPT models when you actually need it. It also offers AI agent services. Now, it would be amazing but this is to get deeper into that because for me it's the next best thing after the LLMs, the agentic AI. Imagine the following. Right now you're going to ChatGPT, for example, and you're asking ChatGPT, can you write me a code that counts how many days are from the birthday that I will give you for my birthday till today. So ChatGPT might do that correctly, but there are lots and lots of times that it will deliver you a piece of code that it will not work correctly. And you as an engineer, as a developer, you have to go in there and fine tune it, change it, or ask additional questions. What is that agentic AI approach? We'll see a bit with the prompt flow, but also another talk with specifically for agentic AI will be amazing. Think of a series of agents. One agent is responsible to write code, and then you can use ChatGPT, GPT model there that is very strong. Another agent is able to run that code. So it might not be even an LLM agent or an AI agent. It will be an agent that grabs that code and runs it. Another agent will try to evaluate, grab the result of that code. Might be an error, might be the actual result, but evaluate that result. And then based on that evaluation, it asks again the agent that writes the code to make the correction. And they start discussing again and again in a loop until they finally come up with a code that works perfectly well. It's scary on one hand for our work, but on the other hand, it's amazing that we can have bots that discuss together and find a solution. A centralized management tool that is also very good for our case because AI Foundry provides a unified interface, not just for the LLMs, for the models, but also for user management. So you create hubs, which is an AI hub, let's say. In a hub, you create projects, and in the projects, you create your solution. And you can have a user management in the level of the hub or in the project. You can also have services that you share between projects and belong to the same hub. You can organize your work. You have developer-friendly integration, which includes SDKs that you can use to actually get things running faster. And of course, generative AI support, which is the big deal and it could not miss. But this last bullet is also quite important because it says AIs existed before. The generative AIs are like an addition to what was existing before. And in production, we can't use just LLMs. We need to use a combination of AIs to get our job cheap way, let's say. So that was it with the PowerPoint. And now we are ready to go into the AI Foundry. How do we go there? ai.azure.com and done. You will see right there that project not, I didn't ask for a project, but sorry, I was remembering one of the previous URLs that I had.
It's a demo god. Finger crossed for the demo god.
Yeah, let's see. So this is the first screen. Now, if you don't have any projects, like I do a few sample projects here, you won't see it a bit differently. You won't see that line above, but you will always see the create new project over here. In this screen, we can see first the first thing that we could potentially see is that we don't need to get to set up a hub and set up a project if we want to start working with a model. We can just jump right in and start working with any model we want. We're not gonna go through that because that's a plan for later on, but it's important to remember that you can just jump in and do anything you want without the complexity of projects and hubs. We also see a few quick links for that's relatively easy to see what's happening. You have a specific number of quota. One interesting thing over here is the differentiation between standard, global standard, and zone standard. So what's that? I mean, I only have these two models now deployed in a global standard format. When we say a global standard deployment type, means that our data, we live in a region, for example, Sweden Central, but when we need to ask an LLM to do something for us, then it will ask an LLM that could be somewhere in the world that it's available at that very moment, it's cheaper, it's whatever we want to find when we want to super do a cost optimization, right? So although our data remain, the prompt travels away, travels somewhere in the world, gets executed, and we get a response back. The standard mode is when everything stays exactly where we choose. And another mode, another type is the zone where requests do not exit the zone. So these are the three differentiations you see from global standard. I care mostly about price right now because I don't have anything. This is not a production application, just playing around. Use global standard. The next one is the model catalog. This is what I was talking about. You see how many models there are there? Actually, 1,825. Can get that one. I don't even know what that is, but it's a text to image built by somewhere here. It's the company that, and it's available for us to use. What the costs? These are the costs. We have the cost when we see a model per 1,000 images. Very cheap comparing to ChatGPT. So you're free to start experimenting, you deploy it, and then you're free to start experimenting with that model, see if it covers your needs, and then you start using that. You can go through the entire collection of models, or you can filter it by industry. If you want models that they are specified for the health and science, life science industries, or anything else, you can choose deployment types. Managed compute means that you need to deploy a VM, in other words, and then the model will deploy it in that VM, or it offers a serverless API. More of the OpenAI models are offering a serverless API. I didn't know, but you can see also the Llama or the Mistral, which is popular with AWS. Everything that there is to be found, it's here for you to start working on. Yeah. Now, if we go back, we can see it safety and security. We're not gonna jump into that. We're not gonna see any details, but the Foundry offers you a lot of tools to actually check out if your solution is safe and secure, meaning also evaluate the model for its responses. We're gonna see the evaluation a bit later, but as a hint, it's using the agentic AI approach. So an agent is, you build your model and another agent pretends to be someone that asks a question, and another agent pretends to be someone that evaluates the answer. And that's how they do it. And content understanding, this is just like documentation. You can understand better what's happening here. This is, as I said before, AI existed before LLMs, and there are a few ways to take advantage of that AI. You can, for example, upload an image to a traditional AI, to a traditional model, and get some understanding out of it. So what this model is about, what this image is about. You can upload a receipt, for example, and extract the fields from the receipt, like the price, the total price, VAT, These are all happening without LLMs, and they are and available for you to use and bring the cost of your solution, of your overall solution, to something more tangible. At the end, we have our projects and hubs. This is where I'm gonna focus a bit more. Let's create a new project. It's not, we're not, it's fairly fast. Let's name that conference. And this is the hub that I was telling you about. You can create a new hub with that. So let's an organizational unit, let's say, or I can host it in this one, for example, the presentation hub. It won't take time, but it will be interesting to see what's happening on the other side. Let's move that on one side, and let's move that on the other side. So you probably know already that Azure, this thing, the portal that you see here, is a UI built upon a collection of REST services, of REST APIs on the other side of things. So what actually Azure is a collection of REST APIs. And there was a team that started building the portal here, and it chose that UI. But using that same REST services, you can build another UI. And this is what we see here. This is the UI that was built on the same services and offers a different approach to things that is specialized to the AI, to the AI Foundry. So if I go here to the resource groups, you will see those names here. This is the resource groups that I were created automatically by the Azure AI Foundry. There is a way, an advanced button somewhere to change those names and name it however you want, but that's not a big deal. If I go here, I will see the previous attempt, where this is the Azure AI Hub service. And if I go to the 8256, I think this is what we've done now. We have the hub, the presentation hub, the one that we worked, and we have the conference project that we created. So in other words, what you see here, you can actually also see here. And when I delete something from here, it actually disappears for here, because the REST API is one. We are talking about just a different UI, right? So this one is the one that I don't need, I think. It's a 55. So I can click here, delete it, and at some, like, it will take some time, and then it will also disappear from the resource group name. It also disappeared from the AI Foundry. And that's done. So we can return here. Now, we deployed another project here. Why? We have two, the presentation and the conference. These projects exist in the same hub, and they can share resources. So if I want, for example, to deploy an AI document intelligence resource, I deploy it in the hub, and then both of them can use the same resource, or for the same for LLM, and somehow share costs. Or I can deploy the services related that they are assigned only to that specific project. Now, let's go through the list here and see what's going on. We have the resource. This is what we can find in the portal. The API key. We have the endpoint to start talking to it. Everything that we can find in the portal. We have here a model catalog in a nicer way. We can select and, for example, deploy this model. It's happening already. We can customize it and say, you know what, I want this to be that much the tokens per minute. This is the selection that I was talking about, the global standard where your prompt travels everywhere, data zone where your prompt stays within the zone, and the standard where your prompt stays within the region you have selected. There are a bit more, but these are for managed resources when you want to deploy a model that needs a VM underneath. So did I click deploy? I clicked, but I never continued to that. Global standard, this will be North Central US. We don't care. Done. That was it. And then I can click open in Playground and I can start chatting with the model. Hello. I should get a response fairly fast. That was it. So we have a chat already, a chat assistant already, with the very specific instructions here, which is you are an AI assistant, nothing more. And this is where we can take advantage of creating Marv. So we can change that instruction to anything we want. For example, you are a sarcastic model. Let's find that instruction right now. I think that was it. And now we need to press apply changes, update, yes, updated, continue. I think it's done already. So let's try here. Hello. That should give us a bit of a more sarcastic response. I'm showing that fast because it's that fast and I was writing so much code to actually make it this way. Yeah, we'll get into what's in the other side of things in a minute. If we move forward, AI services, this is the additional services we've been talking about: speech playground, text to speech, speech to text. Imagine an environment where you can set up a flow where the first AI grabs speech, transforms it into text, then you grab that text, pass it into an LLM, the LLM gives you a response, then you grab the response, and then you use a text-speech capability to actually respond in a natural language. The code here is, I mean, for now, it doesn't have much other than some useful examples. Fine-tuning. This is common. This was there since the start. You can choose the model that you want to fine-tune, for example, this one, and through a wizard process, you can do customization, either supervised or direct preference optimization. The data can exist either in Azure AI Foundry, you will see that later, where we host them, or in Azure account storage, or you can upload them directly now. I think if I do that, next, select data, images will be scanned. What did I choose to actually upload files? So I can choose that and upload my files and do the training right now. Or I can choose to retrieve data from an Azure blob that exists already, or Azure web locations in the data foundry, as I said. Let's get out of here. Prompt flow, that's the big thing. You're gonna see that later. Let's create for now just a chat flow, or let's create a chat flow. This is the folder name. So when you are deploying a new project, what you get out of the box, if we check back to the portal, what we are seeing here, let's go here, is a storage account and the key vault. The key vault is for the secrets, of course. So the storage account is where additional files are stored. These files are, for example, prompt flow YAML files. Click create here. It won't take much. We'll continue our effort and then we'll return back, because I think it will need like 2-3 minutes and it's not nice to wait here. But you will see, you will take a first taste of prompt flow, or how the agentic AI can work. Now, can I go? I hope I can go until that is created. Tracing. Once you deploy something from here, we won't have time. I think we might have time to do Marv, but I didn't create Marv with the original version from Azure AI Foundry, so we won't see much. What you can see here is, if you have what we discussed, this flow of agents and functions working together, you can see how the flow of event travels from one agent to the other. The evaluation, what we discussed so far, creates a series of agents. One will be your agent, your LLM, or your solution. The other will be the agent that will create the questions. Another will be the agents that will respond to those questions. And for example, if I write here AI Foundry generate, you will see that some agents, some LLM create these responses, and at the same time it creates these answers. Now this is because we are testing this deployment, right? This deployment is nothing special, it's just the default one, but we could very well have our Marv here prompt, and then evaluate the response of Marv. Now, you might say that this is just for me to evaluate. Yeah, in a sense, you can also evaluate that. But what's happening is that you can start binding all together and it will provide some results if that answer is actually a good answer for that specific question. And at the end, you are getting a report on how efficient your model is. So let's do here, for example, sarcastic responses and regenerate. And see, one agent is trying to create a meaningful question. Sarcastic doesn't mean necessarily that the question will be sarcastic. So the question here would be, how does sarcasm differ from other forms of humor like irony or wit? And our agent answers that question with sarcasm. And then you can grab those and start creating an evaluation. And this can go on forever. You can choose to have more questions, more than 5. You can have 10 or 20, because the more, of course, you will have a more exact result out of the efficiency of your model. It's working. I'm paying as it's working because of all of these models working together. And to be precise, actually, Microsoft is paying because it's my Microsoft MVP subscription. But nevertheless, this is working now on the other side. We can leave it, and then if we have time, we can return and see the result, how efficient my very simplistic prompt was. Safety and security, we've seen that already. What you've seen from the outside, you also see here on the inside. And at the end, we have models and endpoints. These are a list of models that we have deployed. As we've seen already, I deployed these models. A second ChatGPT, maybe we did it together. I don't remember that, but in the second minute, probably because of my project here. Have our data and indexes. This is what we were discussing, that we have a place in Azure AI Foundry to host our data. Although we can have it in a secure storage or wherever we have our data, we can have everything in one. And this is the greatest of all. I might hit the button and reveal it right now. What time is it? We have some time. So this happened with a click of a button. I can write now, hello, I hope it still works. And it generates a response. And this is a sarcastic response. Now, how did I create that app? Yeah, the UI is not the same. You can make it as beautiful as you want. But how did I create that app? Let's go back to the playground And let's see, this is the playground that we created. And this is the instruction that we give. Pretty simplistic. We're not playing with prompt flow at all. How can we deploy that? Just hit deploy as a web app. We have some data to fill here. For example, conf, that could be the name. Location, it should be West Europe somewhere. Pricing, now you can see here the free and the basic, but maybe for other models, but even for GPT-4o, you need to at least go to a standard SC to make it work. And you have a web configured. Why don't I have, I don't know, the deployment now enabled? You can also update. We have an existing. This is the existing, but why can't I create one right here? I'm not very sure. Conf, the unique name, and let's put it in temp, and let's again choose West Europe, and then again choose standard. Okay, it's in preview, so forgive any errors here. We click deploy, and that is it. It needs to deploy an app service and all the stuff involved, so we're not going to wait now. At the end, you will get that UI. And since the code is in the GitHub repo, you can go grab the code and make it however you want. And suddenly you have your own smart assistants. And there is more, right? I just changed that, but you can also implement a RAG pattern. Here, you can add your data. So you can add a new data source, which can be blob storage. And from that, it will read all your data. Here, for example, it will give specific answers based on the data that you have uploaded. So creating a smart agent for your business with your data, it's very, very easy. And why am I saying that? Usually we're using Wiki, Conference, to store Confluence, to store our data. And I consider all these wikis and Confluence a graveyard of information. We're storing something there, and it's so complicated to find the tree and to search and do whatever you want, but you never see that information again. This way, with no code at all, you can go and grab the data that you have in your wiki, bring them here, and then suddenly you will have an agent that you can discuss with and has all the data in your wiki indexed to find it immediately, which actually makes that graveyard of information alive again. It's like zombieing everything, right? It's a very nice and fast idea to add value to your business without doing anything, just a few steps here. Now, that we can go back to the web apps and see if that's up and running. The deployment status is still running. It will take some time, but will be at the end the same as that. Now you've seen at the end, if I summarize what we've done in the Foundry, that I went into the model catalog, I chose one, I can choose now another one and make another deployment, chat completion with that. I've never used it. See, can I? Serverless API with Azure AI content safety managed compute. No, serverless API. Let's deploy that to see what's happening. Let's deploy another one. I don't know what's happening with that. Let's deploy which one? Oh, one mini. Why not? That's very expensive, but why not? Oh my God. My MVP subscription doesn't need to be deployed for obvious reasons, of course. So let's redeploy the mini because I can deploy that. Deployed. We choose the model, we deploy it, we open in playground, we change the prompt however we want. Let's say that one. And then we click deploy as web app and done. It's like 3 clicks, nothing more than that. Now, and of course, if you want to add your data and make it a bit smarter, you might have a few more clicks over here to bring the data into the AI Foundry. So let me continue. I was about to pause for questions, but I think there's not going to be any questions right now. Let's continue.
You have questions?
No, not at the moment. Seems very clear.
Thank you. So next steps. 3 clicks to create the the Marv solution. Let's see the Marv that was created before AI Foundry. That's the page. It looks different, of course, because everything is custom. And if I say hello here, I hope I will get a sarcastic response. Yeah, it's a sarcastic response. How did we do that back in the days? Let's go to my repos. This is the repo of Marv. It's open source. Although, as I said, now you can use that as a like historic lesson on how you can do everything by hand. Since you can do everything with Azure AI Foundry. We separated in 2 parts: the UI, which we don't care about, we're not going to discuss much, and the code, which is also cloned right here. We have the models. Back then, you had a specific model to make the requests. You were compiling the messages, and then you had to pass also the temperature, the probability, the frequency that we know most models want somehow manually, and you were getting a response. Now, you see that this is not very well written as the request, because Microsoft changed the response just because, at least I found it just before the conference. So I had to grab it very quickly, the JSON response, convert it into models, and just paste it here to make it work. But nevertheless, that's the response model that we are getting. And then we have 2 services, the OpenAI service and the discussion service. The discussion service has a system content message, and forget that for now, forget the Dirk message. We have the instruction exactly as we were doing with the instructions in the AI Foundry. We are accepting the prompt from a user named as question here. Supposedly someone is asking a question. We are adding it into the model, and we are just making a request towards the to get the response back. Now that I don't think we have time to get into details here, and probably there is no reason to do that. What we can do though is see the actual request as it is, the raw request as it is happening with the AI search, the AI Foundry. So I grabbed that. This is one of the URLs that you can find in the AI Foundry. Let me go find the AI Foundry here, and we can go to our models. You can see we have an endpoint here and the key. So this is the one of the endpoints. The key is in the head, and that's the model of the response of the request. Let's go to JSON formatter to take a better look at that. So this is what we're talking about. Forget the experiments that have a gazillion hello messages. It should be something like here. Get a collection of messages. We have roles and content for each message. The role system is actually the character of the bot, how we want it to respond, and we have then contents, but it's either user or if we pretend we have another one, or assistant. And this should be a witty response, a sarcastic response, right? We don't have that now. So this is how it goes, and this is how we see the how we compile a method to send it to an endpoint. This is done automatically by AI Foundry, but at some point, I mean, when you're going into a complicated production application, you might find yourself wanting something out of the standards that the OpenAI Foundry or the AI Foundry offers, and that would mean you will have to generate this JSON on your own and send it to the bot. Once that's done, and you're sending the request, the bot responds with, first of all, content filtering. If anything found that it's out of the ordinary, for example, for hate speech, self-harm, sexual messages, or violence, all of that with a simple hello, of course, they were safe. Then we get the finish reason. It might be because it stopped, the LLM stopped, or it might be because we are out of tokens or anything, and we are getting the response, the actual message. Whoa, what a groundbreaking conversation we're having here, because it's full of hello, if you remember. At the end, we're also getting the prompt filter results, if it was hate, jailbreak, self-harm, and so forth. And we're also getting somewhere, we should get, is it in this? Here, at the end, the tokens used. So we used 20 completion tokens, and we used 52 prompt tokens. In total, of course, 72 tokens. And then we can do, for example, cost estimations, or we can calculate if we have a environment where multiple users or projects talk to the same LLM, we can separate somehow the cost based on the tokens that each one used, and we get that back in every response. Now you see in here, we also have that responses. We also have included, we also get back these tokens, right? If we'll show them to the user or if not, it's actually up to us. If we'll go to the playground, and if I remember correctly, this chat here shows more information included, so the user has an idea of what's done. No, I thought that was done here. Anyway, that's not important. The important is that if you actually get into creating your request and response yourself, you're getting all this information to have available to do your cost calculation. If back the code a bit. Of course, this was an overkill, and you don't need all that much work now to do a very fast deployment. As I described, the deployment that reads your Confluence data, or reads your wiki page, or reads the PDF you have stored somewhere in your company, and you want to make a smart assistant very fast. But if you try to make few steps into this world, you will find that, again, the ready-made solutions are not optimized. One reason for that is chunking. When you're uploading data, of course, you can't upload the entire chunking there. And what's happening on the other side is that there is an engine that reads your document, which might be, I don't know, 1,000 pages, and chunks it per page. But this attempt, what ends up doing is probably separating paragraphs in half, separating sections in half, or other valuable information like tables. What you want to do is somehow create a custom chunking engine that will chunk exactly what needs to be considered one contextually, and send that into the LLM. That's not included here. Nevertheless, it is included. If we go, oops, sorry, page. If we here into the code, you'll see that you have a lot of examples. One of them, the Contoso chat, which is the RAG pattern, contains exactly that, examples of chunking and how to get the embeddings, store them in the Azure AI search, and then use the results of the Azure AI search that been searched with embeddings to feed that to the LM and get results. And if I remember correctly, it does the chunking in a nearly contextual way. Give me a second. They updated. Things are changing so fast here. I'm sorry, but I don't think I will be able to find it right now. Where are they doing the... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, if you are interested in playing more with that, you will find it super useful. And the last part that we didn't do much, the fine tuning. Deployed our model. I think we did deploy one, didn't we? Oh, well, let's do a quick one. Let's go here and find, sorry, not fine tune, prompt flow. I also thought that we displayed that we created the prompt flow, maybe not. That would be unfortunate. We have another 10 minutes. I think we can do it. Let's see if that will work. No, that will not work. It was just a run. Let's create a chat flow. Create. I did, but probably because I left. Okay, we are here. So what's prompt flow? As you would see from the graph here, there is a way to start connecting multiple agents that one agent brings to the other the response and then optimizing it, making it better. If we jump here into the chat, we'll see that we are passing, this is how you compile a prompt with prompt flow. We have the system message, the one that we've seen here, passing as in the prompt as a role. We have the loop that creates all the responses, user assistant, the one that we've seen that it's messages, in the messages. And then we have the final, the latest question of the user. In the next iteration, that question, along with the assistant answer, will be part of that loop. And what that's doing on the other side is grabbing all your history and creating a big prompt to send to the model. Now, you can start investing more time here because you understand when the history becomes so big, the tokens will not be enough. So you need to find a way to include only the chat that they are relevant, only the entries that they are relevant, or the latest 20 entries. There are a few ways of doing that. The UI here, it's a bit complicated for me. I don't know what's happening, but the good thing is that this is actually a YAML file. This is nothing more than a YAML file. Everything you want to create prompt flow ends up being one big YAML file. So we have the inputs. This is the chat history. This is the default input, let's say. This comes every time, and it's what you have discussed so far. We have the question, which is the new entry. We have the answer, which is the response of the chatbot. And then we have the nodes. Each one of the nodes here is actually one node over here. And we can have multiple nodes. If we play with another prompt flow, unless there are questions, I can deploy another quickly enough and have it, let's say, web classification. I think there was one with that asking chat with Wikipedia. This is an interesting one. Clone storage. And now we will see that there is a request. This is how this prompt flow looks like. There is an input by the user. We extract that input. We grab the wiki URL that is relevant with that input. We search result from that URL. We process the result, and then we grab the results and do the augmented chat, which means we send it to the model to give us a response. And all of that is out of the box. So if you go here, grab that prompt flow, go here and change the wiki URL into your Confluence URL, and that search result page into your Confluence search result page, every time you are using that prompt flow, your system will go into your wiki, into your Confluence, grab the, compile it into a prompt, send it to the LLM, and give you a result back, which is crazy nice. I think that my talk. I hope you found it interesting. I think you can do so many things and add value to your company so fast nowadays with what Microsoft has offered. It's crazy not to do it. Yeah. Questions?
Thank you so much. I've got a completely different question. A friend of mine has deployed a German RAG model from a German AI company to Hugging Face, and I would like to use this large language model, which is part of Hugging Face, but I cannot find it in the large language models here in Azure AI Foundry. Is every Hugging Face model searchable in the large language model catalog?
Should be. It contains in a lot. I don't know.
I will
which
share in 1 second the link here to the to the website, and then you can find out if this is searchable. So give me 1 second. Okay. So that's the website, and they have a special version for Llama and for GPT-4. So I would like to find out if this would be searchable.
Which model is that now here?
If you
This
scroll
one?
down, let's take just one. Let's take the G for Germany, GREG Llama 3.1 for example.
GREG
Yeah.
Llama 3.1.
And I searched in the model catalog, I searched for Hugging Face, and then I searched also for GREG and for Avemio, which is the company name.
But there wasn't here. So
No.
one, I think they're adding models based on how often they are used. But one
Okay.
cool thing you can do is that. So you can send that request and to them, and then they will be more than happy adding that. If there is a company though they are creating those models, did I close the page already? If there is a company that creates those models, then you can also approach that company because it will be easier for them to actually add it directly. Yeah? I think Microsoft will only do that for models that they are high demand, let's say. But for models that the demand is slower, most probably you can approach that company and ask them to add the model over there.
That's exactly my question, because I didn't know if all Hugging Face LLMs are going to be synchronized, or is it just a manual upload about the most popular ones?
I mean, the idea is that at some point everything should be there. Yeah. At some point you should find everything, but there are thousands.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So I doubt I can find that here. Yeah. Yeah, they don't even have from an Avemio. I don't know that company, and I don't see they have anything here. But you can now. What you can do is have the model name, put it there, and then since you will not find it, ask Microsoft to add it. If they follow the standards, then it won't be a big deal to add it. If not, then you will have better chances to do it with Avemio or the company that creates those models.
It's currently not really super important for the customer. It's just because a friend of mine works there, and they have developed this LLM. So just more a nerdy question, but not a really customer-driven question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not nerdy.
No, but that was great, George. I really appreciate it. Very interesting. So I will definitely go much deeper and follow you. So I've already had my fingers here deep into Azure Foundation, Foundry AI, and I will go deeper here. Also in this whole tracing paths and everything around comparing the LLMs and getting benchmarks when comparing them. So it's super interesting to go deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you very much then.
Awesome. Thank you, George, for your session.
One last question. When we talk about the deployment, what is the easiest way to deploy? What's your experience? So if I say, listen, I don't have any time, what would be the easiest channel to deploy to?
To deploy what? A model.
Yeah, like
so just you find the model that you want and you click deploy. Done. Then you choose the region and stuff. If you want, of course, a standard, then to be more precise, you need to have the appropriate tokens to your account. But if you choose the global standard, you just go here, deploy, done. You have it, and then you grab the endpoint and the key to start playing around on your own, or you can go open the chat, the playground, change the chat, the model instructions to what you want, and then deploy it as a web app to end up having this web app that you can.
Okay, so this web app is always the okay, yeah.
Yeah, but this is a Git. We can find it somehow, somewhere. It's probably in the examples, or is it? Let me. Yeah. We can go to the Azure portal because at the end everything is in the Azure portal, and see. I think it should be in the deployment center.
Because sometimes I was trying to deploy to Telegram or to other messaging services, and then it was just too complicated. So I was just doing something very simple.
No, yeah, I mean, I think with AI Foundry you will find that they are extremely simple. It's just a few clicks. You just click deploy and done. Yeah.
Yeah. Teams is usually also very easy.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it? Teams is
because
easy?
you're inheriting the Microsoft authentication.
Yes. That's true.
And actually, the ones that you deploy here using the Foundry have embedded the Entra authentication. So it's over there. You just need to go and add users. It's not that anybody will be able to go there and start using it.
Exactly. Yeah. Super. No, it definitely now I've just discovered new LLMs like Meta, like Llama 3.3. So I need to go deeper right now and test the LLMs which I haven't touched yet. Yeah, awesome.
A few very interesting ones. They are also funny.
There are also names, like Cradle. I've never touched. So you created appetite in playing around with new LMs.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't ruin my Azure subscription and
that's
that in 2 days my $120 are going to be eaten up.
You need to get an Azure MVP. Then you have a great subscription.
Yeah, I only have 120, and usually after 2 weeks everything is gone.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Or 1 week.
So much. 2 days out of. George, thank you for
thank you so much.
Thank you. It's very interesting. It's very crazy. I start my journey in Azure Foundry last week, and I need to say I have learned so much today from you. Thank you.
For this. Thank you for this.
So tomorrow are the next sessions in the mixed room in German for AI. Thank you, George, for your session, and have a nice week.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
I appreciate it. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Ciao.
Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.